Show me something.
Hello and welcome back to the Show Me Something podcast.
I am William.
I'm Trevor.
And I'm Jacob, and today I showed the boys Rope by Alfred Hitchcock from 1948, starring Jimmy Stewart and a bunch of other people that I'm not sure what their names are.
Never seen them or heard of them.
But they were very good, in my opinion. What do you guys think about it since I showed you guys for the first time?
Yeah, for sure. Are we going to do a synopsis first?
Yeah, do the synopsis
Oh,
first.
yeah, sure. So basically the movie is about these, this is not spoilered, by the way. It is these two guys who were probably in their early 20s, and basically they kill a person right in the beginning, one of their friends, and they have a dinner party as the body is still in the dinner party. And they basically are trying to make it this, like, big... It's basically like an art piece to them. But that's basically the movie without spoiling it. That's like what you'll read as a synopsis on the internet.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Didn't know anything about it going into it, besides the fact that it was Hitchcock from the late 40s. I would highly recommend it. I watched it with my girlfriend last night. We both really loved it. I mean, honestly, feeling like a 8.5, close to maybe even a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good movie. It's, I would say, bordering on timeless because it's, 72 years old?
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of times in my experience, older film, the pacing is off, or there will be noticeable aspects of the film that date it. This film could have easily been made this year.
Yeah, I
And
feel
I
like
think
you
it would
find that a
still
lot
be-
of the time with Hitchcock.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to be
Yeah.
fair, he's a master, right? So, yeah, it was really great. Short, sweet, to the point, hour and 20 minutes.
Yep.
Super watchable, instead of watching one episode of whatever drama you're watching right now, give this a watch. Yeah, I'll say 9 out of 10.
Right on.
I enjoyed it as well. I watched it this morning. So, like 2 hours ago?
Yeah, not long ago.
2-3 hours ago, I watched it with my dog.
Shout out Piper.
Hi, Piper.
Piper, yeah, she loved it. She was asleep for most of it.
Damn.
So
But
she hated it.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Let me see. I'll give it like an 8. Yeah. Like, it was really good. There were some parts of it where I was like, that's okay. Whatever. Sure.
Right on.
Suspension of disbelief for a film type situation.
Uh-huh.
But regardless, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I definitely think you should definitely give this a watch. It's a Hitchcock. You can't really go wrong with a Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had
Yeah.
a good time with it. There's a couple of times where stuff that I expected to be something were not. But otherwise, yeah, it was really good.
Right on. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agreed. My rating is pretty much on par with Will's. I give it a 9 out of 10. When I originally watched it, I think I had rated it a 10 out of 10. It's probably fallen a little bit since then, but I still think it was incredibly enjoyable. This is the first time I watched it since high school. And I remember I watched it like on YouTube. It was like still on there for free.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was just on there.
The good old days.
Yeah, the
hadn't-
good old days before, because I checked again before I rented it on Amazon, and it wasn't. You had to rent it on YouTube as well. But
I tried to watch it on Hulu, and apparently you have to have a Stars upgrade to
Yeah.
watch
yeah,
it. Or
yeah,
whatever.
it's on Stars, yeah. But I extremely recommend it, obviously, because I recommend it to you guys. But yeah, so that I think ends our non-spoilerino version.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's jump into it. I want to know, can you speak a little bit more about what you thought was your suspension of disbelief?
I was going to ask
Yeah.
you first thing.
They're in an apartment in
Yeah.
New York City. So this is like my suspension of disbelief portion is at the very end.
Yeah.
And it's when they fire the fucking gun in the apartment and they fire it through the floor and nobody knows.
He crashed out the window.
He
No,
fired
he's
when
talking
he-
about before
the hand
that.
gets shot,
When they
okay.
shoots
Also,
him in the hand and
Ah.
shoots
he
him.
still also fires inside and those glass windows are not that thick and it's an apartment building. People would have heard that.
Maybe
Yeah.
the bullet got
I don't-
stuck in his
The
hand.
fact that he opened the window and then shot out 3 times and that's what did it. To me, I was just like, that's...
But I don't think we can say that people didn't know it, because they really only were able to hear people outside talk until they opened the window.
Yeah, but still, like they.
So like the downstairs neighbors could have already called the police. We don't know. I mean, a lot of that stuff happens very quickly.
The way they imply it though is that nobody.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody knows.
They had to finish the.
And for me, that
dialogue.
was just kind of annoying.
I mean, also in the 40s, cars used to backfire a lot more.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give you that. But also, a bullet went through someone's apartment.
It maybe got stuck in his hand.
It did not get stuck in his hand.
Did you see it?
I'm positive. Also, I don't think his hand actually got shot. I'm pretty sure that the reason his hand was hurt was the blast out of the side of the chamber. Because
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm just being a dick.
No, you're fine. But like for me, that's my suspension of disbelief.
That's fair.
I can put that to the side because it's only one thing. It's only one thing.
Well, you're a gun boy.
Exactly.
So anything that happens with a gun, you recognize.
Yeah,
I tend to pick up on that kind of stuff.
I definitely did not think about that at all.
I did.
I was way too
and I
wrapped
still
up in what
won't.
was
That
happening.
doesn't change a thing for me.
No, nor I. But it's a good point.
For me, like guns in film, I really appreciate because, like, the first John Wick is one of those movies that I really love. Mostly for one of the big things is that they
it's a good movie.
Keep track of the bullet count.
The third one, not that great.
They're terrible about it.
I just watched the third one and it was like, what? This is not.
I mean,
I don't even mean about bullet count. I just mean the film itself. I was like,
it's okay.
You went to the LA premiere for the third one.
I did.
For real?
Yeah, I was in the Chinese theater with Keanu Reeves.
What the fuck?
And the director and a bunch
Our
of
friend helped with the editing on that movie.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
She invited me out. She's like, Trevor, I know you love John Wick. Do you want to come to the premiere? And I was like, yeah.
Shout out Jesse. Rojas.
Hopefully you're actually listening to this podcast.
Damn, Jesse, that's sweet. You did a good job editing it. I take it back.
She didn't edit.
The third one's the best one.
She wasn't the editor. She
cool.
did like assistant stuff, I think. I don't actually know what the role
I got to talk to like some of the visual effects guys
That's
or
really
whatever
fucking cool.
at the after party, and like I gave them all of my nitpicky notes. And a couple.
Wow. That's a bold stance, Trevor.
No, because I gave my nitpicky notes to Jessie because she wanted to know, and I was like, yeah, I'm happy to give them to her. And then she introduced it to me to these guys, and she's like, oh, Trevor's got opinions. And I'm like, Jessie, what the fuck are you doing to me?
That's crazy.
But then I
she
gave
wanted
him
to put you on the spot.
Yeah, but then I gave them my like actual notes, and like I started out on the softer side, and they were like, oh yeah, totally. And then I gave them some of my harder ones. So I was like, okay, these guys are really chill about it.
Yeah.
A couple of them, they're like, yeah, we know about that one.
Oh shit.
Didn't have time to fix it.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
And it's like, all right, cool. And they even pointed out to me like, oh, in that same scene, did you notice this too? And I was like, no, I didn't.
Oh,
like,
that's sweet.
So it was a really cool experience.
Damn, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, one of the coolest experiences.
Yeah, that's sweet as fuck.
It was dope. A lot of free food and drinks.
Tangent. Have you seen John Wick, Jacob?
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second or
I
third.
don't know if the third one's not worth watching.
The
but
third one is worth watching.
I'm sorry. I mean,
not as
for this podcast. I
yeah,
would
for
say.
this podcast, maybe
The
not.
second one's good though.
Yeah?
Second one's pretty
the
good.
first one I thought was dope. I thought it was
The
great.
first one's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I said, they keep
Same with the first Taken movie. Only seen the first one. Great movie.
There's more than one?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Fuck off.
Also 3, yeah.
Are you
You
serious?
never
Yeah, swear
noticed
to God.
that like meme clip that they put online all the time of who stars in Taken?
Liam
Liam
Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Thank you. My God, my brain.
Damn.
I know. Don't give me that look. I'm really bad at names. Liam Neeson trying to jump a fence,
More like bad
and
at
it's
life.
like, and it's like
Fucking
80.
rating rope that low.
It's like, and they have like 80 cuts in one scene of him trying to jump a fence because he couldn't do it all in one.
That's
so
amazing.
it's like over, like it's like basically a stop motion of him going over a
I'll have
fence.
to look that up. That sounds great.
So
All right, anyway, good tangent. Good action movie
sorry.
tangent. No.
But yeah,
I'm
so
here for
like
it.
that's my one little hiccup.
That's fair.
Otherwise, great movie, very suspenseful, very like
Yeah.
But like it was cool. I liked it.
But yeah, to get back to Rope. So
No, I'm talking about Rope.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were still talking about John Wick. I wasn't
No,
listening.
that is not a suspense movie. That's an action movie.
Yeah, so it starts off with the camera is watching outside. I assume also this is where Hitchcock has his cameo. I didn't notice it, but he has a cameo in every film.
That's right.
I
He's
assume he's
probably
on the street somewhere in the beginning.
I
But
completely
yeah,
forgot
so
about the
the
cameo
credits
thing.
are rolling over the street, and then it does a nice like pan shot into the window, and that's when it starts off basically because everything in this movie takes place just in their apartment.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to look like it's all real time, all shot in one take, which they expertly do by going behind different props or different people
Except
and then
once.
switching the film out.
There's one time when they don't do it expertly.
Which part was that?
Brandon talking to Rupert
I mean, I always notice it when they do
in
it
the
behind
door frame.
people.
Yeah.
Whenever they do it behind a suit jacket, it's
Like they literally go all the way in and then all the way out again.
Sorry, I mean it's always the same for that, but there was a continuity error in one of the ones they did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they were on the left side of the door frame between the room they spend most of the film in and like the entry foyer. They're on the left side of the door frame. It zooms into Brandon's back and then comes back out, and then all of a sudden they're on the right side of the door frame, and they've broken the
180 rule.
The 180 rule, right? They're on the different side of the film, and then Rupert goes from being on Brandon's right on the left door frame to being on Brandon's right on the left. Oh shit, on his left on the right door frame. Sorry.
I don't know what
it's a very minor thing.
I get what you're saying.
He basically he teleports from one side of the door frame to the other.
Yeah.
But that was truly the only time I noticed it. And having looked up nothing about the film beforehand, I'm sitting there with Riss, and like 15 minutes in, I'm like, has this all been one shot?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I think each take was like 10 minutes long or something like that.
At least 10 minutes.
Because it was just however long a film reel was. So they had to cut eventually.
That's fucking fantastic.
It was. I didn't pick up on it actually until that first time they pushed into someone's back. I was like, oh, damn, this has been
the whole fucking time.
Oh, wow.
Because it also doesn't like, in my opinion, it doesn't like lag or like feel like the pacing is off. Because it's not cutting. It feels like you're watching like a really intense drama or play.
It's a fucking play. Yeah.
So I was super confused at the beginning, a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's zero exposition.
Nothing.
There's none. It jumps right into it. Boom.
So I'm like, so like they kill this guy and they're putting him in the box, and I'm like, David, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I guess they killed this dude.
You're basically like, what the fuck did I just watch?
I'm like, that part didn't really surprise me so much and then they start talking, and I'm like, that's weird. And he's like, all right, here, take the gloves and put them in that drawer. And I'm like, okay, so this isn't the guy they just killed place.
Yeah.
Nope. Because why on earth would you not just immediately, regardless, why wouldn't you get rid of those gloves?
Right.
Those are incriminating.
It's because Brandon is so cocky.
Brandon
is like a psychopath.
Fuck. Brandon is insane.
Brandon is absolutely insane.
And he is just so good.
I think my notes all throughout this are like
ridiculous person.
Yeah.
Like
I think every like 10th note on my list is Brandon's a sociopath.
Yeah.
It's just over and over again. He is insane.
For him.
And why the fuck did he include Philip in this?
Zero idea.
The
worst person of all time to have this be your partner.
Anyone else?
I think it has to be because it's the only other person he could find that shared the same philosophical sentiment.
But also
as Rupert. Rupert was the other person.
Apparently they lived.
Like he didn't think that Rupert had the gall to actually go through with it.
Also, so apparently I guess they both live in this apartment.
I don't know. It seemed like Brandon's apartment, but maybe they both live in it. I'm not actually sure. It's a very luxurious apartment.
It's incredible.
Beautiful
that view is
apartment.
amazing.
Gorgeous apartment.
Ridiculous. Riz kept asking, what does Brandon do that he has this apartment? Like, she was like, I need to know
they're
what
the
his
upper
job
echelon of society.
Right.
Apparently.
But we know Philip is a pianist. We don't know what Brandon does. Also, her rating was, I think she said 7 out of 10. But she really liked it.
Nice.
So
I don't know what her rating system is. So
I think that's high. It's high. She said she really loved it.
Nice.
So
right
also
on.
that, yeah. Whoever I want to see more films that Brandon, John Dahl, is that his name, Trevor?
Yeah, John Dahl.
John Dahl.
I want to see more of John Dahl.
Yes.
Because he was really fucking great in this.
He was excellent.
And like, I hated him obviously. Because I think you're kind of supposed to.
Yeah, for sure.
He was in
He's
Spartacus.
like super creepy and erotic and like
so
many adjectives I could use. Like
he got it's such a weird like calm thrill that he got out of it.
Yeah.
Like he's cocky, calm, and he's like
carnal.
Yeah, he has this insane pleasure with just killing because he feels like he's better than the person and their life didn't matter at all.
Yeah,
and it's exciting to like kill somebody, I guess, for him, which is weird.
There's a lot of homoerotic stuff in this film.
So that's one of my reasons for bringing up, though, the fact that, like, are Brandon and Philip a couple?
It really seems that way.
I think it did seem like
they
that,
go out to pains to make it seem that they're not.
Because that's just 1948.
Exactly. They mention Brandon dating Janet before she dated David and then Kenneth.
Which also means nothing.
Right.
Janet dated everybody, apparently.
Yeah, she just, the whole friend
Except
group.
for Philip.
Right.
Which, I mean, why would you?
Philip.
Brandon, I guess.
Philip's a fucking nerd who couldn't take a murder.
I mean, it was truly, like, we kept remarking, like, they're so close to each other right
They
now.
are.
And
They
really
even have like these little like bickering moments.
Yeah.
Where you're
Also,
like
they're a couple.
also it's implied that they both live there.
they have that
But
dope maid.
when they're talking about like the phones in the bedroom, they don't say whose bedroom. They just
Yeah.
say the bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's implied they both live there. So unless they got bunk beds.
Yeah.
Or like 2 twin beds, which would be weird for this
And
nice.
they're
no, that would
vacationing
be very
together.
1948.
Yeah,
Two
and-
twin beds, even for a married couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
but
would.
like
A la
like
I
you
Love
said, they're
Lucy.
vacationing
They're
together.
vacationing
It's crazy.
together, and like they don't really seem like friends.
No.
They don't seem like friends at all.
Like, so if they're not friends,
A lot of their arguments seem like
couple
yeah.
yeah. I hadn't even thought about that, to be honest with you.
I didn't
but it's-
either until you brought it up, but it makes
That
sense.
was-
It makes a lot of sense.
one of my later notes actually, because I didn't pick up on it early. It took me a little while,
Yeah.
but like little things kept building, and I
Their
was like,
energy is really like
couple energy
couple energy.
for sure. So I mean, if so, good on Hitchcock, I guess, for like putting a gay couple in his film.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair though, they are murderers.
Right.
So maybe not good on Hitchcock, depending on his thought process. But like that would be my only explanation too for why the fuck he included Philip whenever Philip doesn't really seem down for this whole thing.
Yeah, because
Right.
basically after he kills David, after they kill David together, Philip's like not able to talk.
At all.
Philip is freaking the fuck
He's like
out.
frozen, like looking off towards the camera, but not at the camera, but like
Yeah.
towards that fourth wall.
Yeah.
And just like staring because he can't do anything, basically. And Brandon is talking about he's basically like talking about the thrill and like talking about how they're gonna have this dope party later.
Yeah.
Yes. Which, to be fair, they're also like they have the dining room table all set up.
Yeah.
And so then they are like, oh, we're going to have the food in here. What a change also, not only from no longer having a sit-down dinner
Yeah.
to now
The dinner
a
was weird.
buffet
Super weird.
type thing.
And
Serve
almost
yourself,
no one eats.
standing.
Yeah.
They mentioned the chicken is untouched at the end of the dinner.
Like they barely touch a thing.
They just drink.
Rupert has a dope sundae, and he like takes like one spoonful.
Yeah,
out
that ice cream, that dessert looked really
It looked
good.
delicious.
Well, the maid lady, whatever her name was, she did a great job preparing this feast.
To be fair, she was all over Rupert.
yeah,
She wanted, and Rupert was
Rupert
kind of,
was all over her too.
he was kind of into her too. Yeah. So
Rupert,
anyways.
played by Jimmy Stewart.
we're also jumping really far ahead again.
Yeah, sorry. Also, the next part that I have, as they're having like these conversations and like moving stuff over to the chest where they just put David's dead body into, which has a broken lock on it, mind you, so they can't actually lock the chest. You can see the rope hanging out of it, which I couldn't remember if they actually called back to it. I thought it was gonna stay hanging out, but they immediately are like.
Yank it. Well,
Yeah,
Philip
yeah,
freaks
Philip
out over it.
Notices
Freaks
it.
out.
Well, he freaks out about every fucking small detail.
Yeah.
Clearly, Brandon's right in this case where it's just rope.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
That's
like-
not going to be their first fucking thought.
Brandon, yes,
Yeah,
is a
why?
sociopath.
If I saw rope in someone's house, I wouldn't think, oh, they murdered someone.
Yeah.
There's
No.
a dead body here somewhere.
Where is it? Let's find it, boys.
If that was the case, well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of my coworkers called my truck a murder truck because I have a bunch of rope and like bolt cutters.
Just
and
like
shit in it.
Dennis from
But-
It's Always Sunny. I need to have my tools. Has anybody seen it? No, you
No.
guys haven't seen it. Damn, what? You haven't seen It's Always Sunny?
Oh,
On the
I've
list, baby.
I've watched the first season, but I've never been able to get
The
past
first
that.
season's great.
They're all fucking terrible.
Yeah, they're bad people. That's the point
Yeah,
of it.
it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I can't get with it because they're awful. I get that that's the point.
That's like the same point with like Seinfeld. They're all bad people.
yeah, they are all bad people in Seinfeld.
It's just a more extreme version. But they're all bad people.
Yeah.
None of them are good.
Well, you're like having an
Shattered my
epiphany.
fucking world, dude, yeah, because I love Seinfeld.
Seinfeld's great.
I know you do. That's why I brought it up. It's the same point, though.
That's the,
Fuck,
but that's
alright.
the argument everyone uses for Always Sunny because everyone's seen
I just
Seinfeld.
fucking hate them,
You're supposed to.
but I don't hate the people in Seinfeld.
That's on you.
I guess so. I'm flawed. All right, cool. Anyway, moving on.
But yeah, like Brandon, yeah, he's a sociopath, but he's a good sociopath.
Well, he's level-headed in the right moments.
He's very level. There's weird times,
but he's
throughout-
also cocky as fuck in the wrong moments.
Way too cocky.
I'm gonna keep saying we, and I'm sorry. I watched it with someone else, so it's hard for me not to.
No, that's fair.
We
That's
kept
fine.
being like, why is he saying this stuff?
Why is he doing this?
Every time he spoke, almost,
Yeah.
he alluded to the fact that there's either a dead body there,
Or
that
that he killed someone, or
like
something.
murder's dope.
murder's okay. Like,
Dude, murder? Fun, right?
I mean, it's just like a masterful building of suspense.
You feel it, right, old man? You
Yeah,
feel murder's
come
fun,
on.
right? Yeah, totally. You got this.
If it's the right cause, let's fucking kill someone.
And if you're better than them.
Right, I'm fucking better than
Also, I'm totally not, like, I get it, like, in a movie or whatever, like, I don't find it that hard to root for, like, somebody, but, like, it's really hard to root for Brandon because he straight up
I
killed
don't
him.
think you're supposed to root for
No,
No,
you're
you
not.
can't.
But like, there's times where like they murder somebody with like they had a really good reason or whatever, and in this case,
well, this is the opposite.
he has no
the
reason,
complete opposite.
no reason whatsoever other than I felt like it.
Yeah.
And I do want to
Like-
mention who they invited to the party because it's very specific.
It's fucked up.
So they
It's
invited
so fucked up.
David's girlfriend Janet, who we mentioned earlier, and then they also invited David's parents. The mom wasn't able to show up; she had to stay at home because she's sick.
Yeah.
Mr. Ketley is the dad's name, and then they also Mr. Ketley invited his sister because he wanted to bring a date. To
Yo,
the,
what the fuck is her accent?
I don't know. Her name was Mrs. Atwater though.
What is her fucking accent?
No idea.
And then
It's
they
not British.
also invited Kenneth.
Kenneth,
the-
Janet's ex-boyfriend.
and I guess all of the friend of theirs from
They're
school.
all friends, yeah. David, Kenneth, Brandon, and Philip were all friends from prep school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where
Rupert was their
Rupert,
teacher.
yeah, Rupert was
He was
some
their
sort of-
house-
some sort of figurehead.
housemaster.
House.
some shit.
So yeah, I guess like whenever they were in their dorms, he was
like
like,
a Professor McGonagall to Gryffindor situation.
Someone
Yeah.
who was very philosophical and like telling them about
"Hey, murder's cool."
Right.
I think yeah, it's weird that it seems like that was like his big thing.
I mean, it was.
It's-
Because even Rupert brings it up randomly.
They frame it that way.
Murder
Rupert
is
brings it up out of
fine.
nowhere.
Yeah.
He's like, here's a good topic for a dinner party.
Yeah.
Murder, cool, right?
And then when fucking Brandon starts going too far with it, Rupert's like, geez, maybe this was a bad idea.
maybe I shouldn't have talked about murder so much, but regardless.
But yeah, so those are the people that were invited to the party. David was also supposed to show up, but David has obviously been murdered. So
Yes.
during the party,
I mean, he's
people
there.
are constantly. He is technically there. He was there on time.
Also, and yeah, Miss Wilson's there the whole time, but she's, I guess, their housekeeper.
yeah,
or
that's her name. You're right, Mrs. Wilson. that's
Miss
what you
Wilson. Yeah.
said. Yeah, she.
I love her, by
she's
the
like
way.
the
She's-
maid or something. She's great.
she's fantastic.
She's one of the only likable characters. Her and like Rupert. Even
She was awesome.
Rupert.
well, actually,
I fuck
I
with
like
Rupert.
Mr. Ketley a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Ketley, because he was like a voice of reason for humanity. He
Yeah.
was like, who are you to say who's lesser than you?
Yeah.
And also, I don't believe humanity's that evil.
Mm-hmm.
and then he got like sad when the guy was like being antagonistic. It was like
He was
fuck.
pissed. Yeah.
It was like he like completely shut down.
Yeah.
He like
He's
couldn't
like, I
talk
think it's time
anymore.
Well,
for me to
pretty
go
much
now.
everyone is likable except Brandon and Philip.
Mrs. Atwater's not likable in my
No,
opinion.
Mrs. Atwater's a fucking garbage can.
She's
dude.
like so
What is her
dumb.
accent, bro? What? I just please tell me what her accent.
Foreign.
But that it's not even. It's like
not.
some weird bastardization of American English.
Yeah, she's like
Scottish
supposed to sound
sometimes,
like
maybe?
highbrow.
Oh, she sounds fucking horrible.
Oh,
I hated her.
But yeah, so the whole time they're at this party, they're like, it keeps coming up more and more as the night goes on that
Like, why are we
David's
eating on
not
top of this
fuck-
weird chest? Where's David? What's
where
going on?
basically where the fuck is David?
yeah.
We find out during the course of the movie he's usually very punctual.
Yes.
He will let you know where and when he is. He's only in town for the couple of days.
Yep.
And his mom is extremely worried about him always just because it's her son, her only child.
Her only. Oof.
Only child. Not even only son, only child.
You know, so like all the shit that goes down in this movie, you know, everyone that was at that party is gonna be fucked up for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a fucked situation.
They literally
The
ate
ending
dinner.
Part is fantastic. I won't get
Save
to it
it,
now.
yeah,
but
Yeah,
like,
we'll get to it later, but like,
man,
Also,
when that ending came
it's
through,
amazing.
I was like,
I want to also say that Philip, I think, is a likable character.
do you think so?
I do think so.
I don't think he is.
I think he's more.
You don't think he's sympathetic?
I think he's sympathetic because I think he was dragged into this by Brandon.
Yes, but also-
but he still murdered someone.
Yeah.
and he still at times says that he partially enjoyed it. Like he still catches a thrill from it because like Brandon eventually like yanks it out of him when they continue to talk to each other. But like
Before the party starts?
yeah, before the party starts.
okay.
Drinking
But, like,
champagne, I think.
Mostly, he's upset by it. He's disturbed by what they just did, and he doesn't agree with being associated with it
Yes.
for most of the time.
Right.
but he still has that underlying factor of he agreed to it.
He did agree.
He was okay with it, and he was essentially the one that fucking killed him. Like, it was basically, it was his hands.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was Philip's hands.
I'm also pretty sure it was.
I
Philip's
don't
hands.
remember who
Brandon
actually
was on one side, and then Philip was on the other. But I'm pretty sure it was him that had the rope.
God, I don't remember.
But yeah. So what were you guys gonna say?
I have just a quick, again, back note. Before the party starts and they're cleaning up and everything, we mentioned like numerous moments where Philip is freaking out about little details. This shot where Brandon brings the rope into the kitchen and drops it in the drawer.
He flaunts it.
But also the swinging door shot.
The swinging door shot was
like
so
he goes
good.
into
The
the
maid's
kitchen
here
door.
at the time.
Right. So the maid walks out of the kitchen door.
And he slips
Brandon
in.
slips in as it closes. It closes as he's in, and then it opens up to see him dropping the rope into the drawer,
like
and then it closes
whimsically.
again. It's like such a
The
fucking...
whole thing, he's
how
doing
do you
whimsically.
time that shot
That
in
had
a
to have-
10-minute shot? It's like fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, that's within the
It sh-
full 10
It
minutes.
shows the masterclass of the actors for one, and then
And
also
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock's direction.
Jesus Christ.
Like, you have to have. Can you imagine the like the warm ups and like the first shots of when they did this? Imagine messing
In
up.
1948?
Imagine messing up on minute 9.
And that's a whole
reel of film
just gone.
Gone. And that
Can
shit
you?
is
Because
expensive.
like filming over that, it's not. It. I don't think you even
can't.
can.
You
Yeah.
can't. And we would have noticed because there were no
I mean,
cuts.
I have to say Hitchcock's the GOAT.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to argue
I'm gonna show you
against.
guys more Hitchcock.
Yeah, that's great. It's hard,
I mean,
it's hard to argue against.
I don't know what other ones you guys haven't seen that I've seen. though.
I'm mad that I haven't seen this one before, to be honest.
It was
This-
one of the first ones that I watched.
This is one of my favorite ones.
It's one of my
To be
favorites,
fair,
too.
most of my Hitchcock did come from in college.
Same.
Mine was early high school because that was when I was diving into film.
Well, yeah, you were big in film like early. I didn't get into film stuff, which is why I haven't seen a lot of these like classic films until college.
I wasn't like classic film until college.
Yeah. So, yeah, to give you guys a little bit of background if you haven't listened to any of our other stuff, I did a lot of film stuff in high school and, like, started getting into stuff basically as a Kirk. He's co-hosts the Ned Pod with me.
Yeah.
on the Harbor Boys Network.
On the Harbor Boys Network.
Shout out Harbor Boys.
But yeah,
I mean,
we
that's
started
the network this is on.
basically the first year we did it, we made it a competition. So that was also an extra factor of me trying to watch a lot of movies. But that's where I became a cinephile, was like when I was in 10th grade, sophomore year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know when you guys were.
I mean, almost my entire adolescence was, I lived in a small town in New York. We used to walk into town, quote unquote, which was Main Street. On Main Street, there was a shop called Video Visions, and it was just a video store, like a video rental store, like a local blockbuster.
similar to like the Clerks one.
Yeah,
I know you hate
I mean,
Clerks, but
no, I like Clerks. I like Clerks.
didn't we talk about it last? Well,
Yeah.
off mic.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about it.
Clerks has flaws, but Clerks is good.
Right on.
I haven't seen it.
Anyway,
Great movie. I'm
Oh.
gonna bring it.
Cool, yeah, great. Local video store, and like when I wasn't at school, me and my friend Will Carroll would walk to town and rent 2 or 3 movies and go home and just hang out and watch movies.
I would do the same thing, but
We
it was
weren't
the
doing
library.
Yeah,
and
we
they were
weren't
free.
doing Hitchcock and shit like that. We were watching like, early 2000s shit because that was the time.
Yeah.
We would watch new movies, go to the new releases, but
Right on.
I mean, since I was 12, and I'm
Damn.
28 now.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
You got a head start on me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school as a film major, like you.
Yeah, but yours was different. Yours
Mine
was
was
yours
different.
was film study.
Well, I went into film production. Freshman year, I was film production.
Oh, really?
I was a true blue film major, and then I was way too self-conscious and didn't want to show anybody anything that I ever made. So then I
Sad.
jumped into English with a film and media studies criticism.
I feel like you seem like an English film lit, though.
Yeah, so then my classes became watching movies and writing papers,
Which is
about
great.
them, which is the fucking.
It's the best
it's
thing.
greatest
I would
thing in the
still
world.
do that to this
Don't
day.
have a job, but hey, great
Let's do
degree.
it. We're essentially doing it now.
Yeah.
So-
So it's been a long time.
And like for me, all childhood, high school, all that, I watch movies, yeah, but I still don't think I'm a cinephile technically. Like, I like movies now, but like all growing up, it was like my parents would show me stuff that they liked when they were younger,
Yeah.
but not even that much of it. And I would watch the popular stuff for kids that came out, and a lot of TV, a lot of like just like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I got into college, I didn't even start in college in film. I started in college as advertising.
Yeah, you did.
No
And
shit.
then
We switched in. We randomly met each other.
I switched into telecommunication productions because
Thank God.
Yeah, honestly. Because when I was in advertising, they started talking about the behind the scenes of commercials, and I was like, that seems really interesting.
Yeah.
Cameras and stuff. And then I got into that, and then met Jacob.
Setting up lights together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Took
And
some
working a single camera together.
Yeah.
Pulling focus.
Took some film classes as part of my concentration, and that's really like. And I had seen some like good movies over the years, but I'd never like really looked into them until that. Like, film studies, vampires in cinema.
Well, that's when you start to notice stuff.
Some other stuff, and they're like, yeah, my professor for film studies was kind of a dick, but regardless,
Always are.
yeah, he was like a PhD student,
Snobby film people.
really way too snobby for his own damn good. But I really enjoyed.
I actually liked all my film teachers.
Oh, well,
I did too.
That's nice for y'all. I didn't. Mine was a dick.
But I know the stereotype.
I took the same guy for 3 different classes. He was fucking fantastic.
Well, that's
We did
I can't
that.
remember his
We did
name,
that for
but-
our film production teacher.
Yeah.
E-Man.
Yeah.
E-Man.
Shout out E-Man.
Hopefully you're listening. You're probably not. But let's hope
Still,
you do.
shout out.
Have
What
we
do-
even told her we're doing this? Probably not.
I haven't talked to her in years.
What do you think was your first Hitchcock film?
Oh my god. It would have been in one of those classes, unless I had seen something before that, which I don't think I had. It was probably Psycho. It was either Psycho or because I know I watched Vertigo after Psycho.
Yeah.
I watched Vertigo later. Yeah.
But
Which is
yeah,
my least
I think
favorite.
it had to have been
It's my
Psycho.
least favorite Hitchcock, by the way.
That's wild.
I want to rewatch it so bad though, but
Yeah,
I remember when I
you
watched
should.
it, I didn't like the pacing. Thought
My
it was bad
first-
pacing.
My first was Rear Window
Rear Window, I definitely
in
also.
college. In a
Mine
film
was
class.
either Rear Window or North by Northwest.
Yeah.
I think
Also fucking great.
I don't think I've seen North by
Both
Northwest.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fuck! If you guys haven't seen it, that's fucking next.
Which
man.
one?
I've seen North by Northwest.
Nope.
I've seen.
I'm just bringing Hitchcock.
All right,
baby.
let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down. I've seen Vertigo, Rear Window, now Rope, obviously. I honestly don't think I've seen Psycho front to back.
Fuck.
It's pretty good.
I've seen clips of Birds.
I haven't seen Birds.
I haven't seen all of Birds. I've definitely
Have you
seen some of it.
Lifeboat?
No.
Nope.
I watched. It's a Hitchcock movie. I watched it only because I wanted something like Rope, where it takes place in one place.
Yeah.
It takes place just on the lifeboat.
Fuck.
I mean,
Not as
Rear,
good.
Rear Window does the same thing.
Not
so,
as good.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but I'd already seen Rear Window,
Okay.
and that's one of my
Rear
favorite
Window is
movies
fucking
ever.
great.
yeah, Rear Window and Psycho were around the same time. So
Also, shout out Disturbia, which is like the modern age remake, basically,
Yeah.
of Rear Window.
Yeah.
They did a good job, though. They
Shia
did still a
LaBeouf
good
is my
job.
boy.
Shout out fucking Saya, man. He doesn't get enough. He doesn't get
He
enough
really
shouts.
doesn't. That dude. I mean, he's been through a lot.
kind of crazy, but he does good. He does
I really wanna
think
watch
people
Honey
give him
Boy.
too hard of a time.
Yeah.
I want to watch Honey Boy.
But that's like how I got started with the whole film thing. So I'm definitely more on the normal person side of the spectrum, whereas you guys are more on the cinephile kind of cinema.
I feel like I also sound like a fucking cuck saying, calling myself a cinephile.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use that word
But, like-
because of that, though. Like, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I
But
would
you guys
probably
more or
say
less
I'm the
are
same.
though. Like
Yeah.
I
no
like
matter
movies.
the connotation associated with the word you are, and whereas I'm like I grew up watching like Dave. We just recorded Dave, and like that's the kind of
Whoa,
stuff.
what if we air them out of order?
We're not.
We're
we
not.
just talked about not doing that. Don't fuck that.
Like that's the kind of stuff I grew up watching. Like, and
But I grew up watching that same stuff.
So did
I
I.
didn't start watching anything that was like critically acclaimed until I was in
Right.
high school. Like,
Yeah.
and like before that, even before that, I was like polar opposite. Like I wouldn't watch movies. Like I only wanted to play video games.
but-
when I was a kid, and like I remember the first time. Like my sister and my mom like had rented Casablanca because like my sister wanted to watch it. She'd always heard about it.
Casablanca's
And like
great.
they started watching it, and I was like, "Fuck this!" Now I fucking love Casablanca.
Casablanca's great.
I was playing fucking Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 on the computer, saying, "Fuck you guys! You guys are nerds." But
So-
now I'm like, that movie is amazing, and it has so many great lines. It's one of the like pinnacles of film. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I loved playing games as a kid too, but also I didn't have a ton of games to play really. Like
oh, I had some.
I had my
Fiji games.
PS2 and I had Wacky Racers on the old PC.
Shout out
and
Wacky
fuck off.
Racers.
Wacky Racers is so good.
Shout out
Wacky
Wacky.
Wow.
Fucking Wacky Racers, and I borrowed one of the the turn-based Red Alert.
Red Alert is
Oh.
fucking
One of
Command
the-
and Conquer.
Can we big shout out Red Alert?
Yeah, all the real-time strategy games.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so I
still
played
love RTS. to
Forgotten
this day.
genre.
No,
I-
RTS is you can still find them.
No, there's
but
some good RTS
But the
Forgotten.
peak,
Forgotten.
Yeah.
Forgotten.
That was early 2000s, late 90s.
But like I didn't have a
Command
ton
and Conquer,
of
Warcraft, Starcraft. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I didn't have a ton of games. I didn't watch a ton of movies. I just watched like not great TV and then was outside because I was on a farm. I didn't really get
Shout out Farm Boy.
to interact with all this media. So like I'm kind of not.
Well, you guys had dial-up, and you still do.
Yeah, more or less. My internet's I have like 5 megabits a second.
2020, the man's got dial-up.
How do you download hentai?
I don't. First of all,
Okay.
you don't download. I don't download porn. That's weird.
Abby, leave it in.
Second of all, I don't download hentai.
How do you stream hentai?
I don't stream hentai. Third of all,
You own it.
Yeah, right.
He owns it.
He owns it on Blu-ray.
I have to buy the DVD.
He owns it on HD DVD.
No, we don't even have a Blu-ray
Red
player in
disc.
my house. The highest piece,
Laser disc.
literally the most
Shout out
advanced
Laser
piece of
disc.
technology in my house is my desktop PC because I built it. So it's like that's it.
Your dad looks in there. It's like fucking bright pink. It's like he's like, "What the fuck's going on with all these neon lights?" You're like, "Get out of here, Dad! I'm watching hentai."
Why are we ragging on me?
All right.
Sorry.
We've lost the
Why-
plot. We've lost the plot.
I'm just
Sorry,
trying to
so-
illustrate the fact that like I'm more or less the new person in this group, despite having studied this stuff. So I know some things, but
you're
like,
gonna
You
bring-
do.
you're
Don't
gonna-
sell yourself short.
Yeah.
no,
And
but
you're
like
also-
I still bring to the table
A completely different
a
point.
very
Right.
different point of
It's
view.
not like you don't watch film or.
Oh no,
fucking
because I love
TV.
film now.
Right.
Like I understand it a little bit more and I appreciate it a lot more. I need.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they invited Rupert because he thinks that he would appreciate their, in quotes, like art or work.
This shit, like, there's a lot of times throughout this film that I'm shaking my head in disbelief. Wanting to do a murder with your fucking teacher, father figure, whatever Rupert is to Brandon and Philip.
Definitely some sort of father figure.
Like, you.
Which Rupert is the GOAT.
Rupert's fucking incredible. Jimmy Stewart is fucking incredible.
Jimmy Stewart, God
It's unbelievable how good he is. I know, just relax. You're trying to jump right to the end. I know.
No. I mean, like, Jimmy
He's so
Stewart
good.
is, like,
He's so good.
such a fantastic actor. Like,
He's amazing. I mean, the instant he shows up, it's
it
his
blows
movie.
me away.
It's
like,
his movie.
the amount that someone, like a single person, can really carry a movie.
Yeah.
Like, imagine having that presence. And you still find it today with some people. Like, it definitely happens.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But it's
But every single time,
it's like, God damn. Like, that
Yeah.
man is a fucking actor.
he's incredible. So, I mean, it's perfect for him to be that person because he has to carry a lot of weight. There's a lot of weight put onto the character of Rupert before he even shows
Which
up.
he doesn't even come in until like 30 minutes in.
No, not at all. The
Like, the
party
party's
starts
already
without
going.
him. Yeah. It is. Anyway, it's fucking weird. Like, you want to murder someone with your teacher.
Present. They just want him to be able to be in the midst of their like work.
Post murder.
But that's everybody. They want the parents to be there. They want the friends, the ex-lovers. Like,
They
they-
also realize that Rupert is the one who will, if anyone would
Appreciate it.
would find out.
yeah,
that's true. I think that Brandon also likes the thrill of the kill, basically. AKA, he likes people to almost be able to find out. He likes to like give them a little treat and see if they'll like take the bait, right?
Yeah, for sure. And he, as I mean, traditionally with serial killers, they almost like from what I remember reading and hearing about,
Yeah.
they almost want to be found.
Yeah.
They want to be caught, and I feel like if he wasn't caught this time, he would have killed again,
Right.
and would have
I want to
wanted.
jump to the end so bad.
Don't do it. Doesn't matter.
I know, but still, like we've been trying to build.
I think
but
that plays into the whole erotic nature of Brandon throughout
for
the film.
sure, he's like
Because he's like he's basically
He's
is
getting
getting
off.
off on the fact that he killed someone.
He is.
And that he's like lording it over these, like his fucking family. Like, I'm feeding this
Which
kid's
also-
parents food off of his grave.
Philip is like during the film you constantly see Philip finding out about these nuances that Brandon's added to the kill. Like he finds out that he invited them. He finds out that he wants to move the table. He finds out that he ties up the rope later with the books.
the books.
Which
Yeah.
has a great
It's
payoff.
constantly him just finding out,
Yeah.
and it's more and more stuff weighted on Philip's shoulders.
It's like-
that he eventually, will reach a breaking point.
Right.
But like he constantly goes back also to the piano as his oasis.
Yeah.
Where he can get away from Brandon because Brandon is like throwing these things at him that he can't take.
It's like he's playing Jenga on the edge of the Empire State Building.
I'm rating this movie a 10. I'm going back.
Oh shit!
As we're talking about it, I'm actually starting to increase my
you
rating.
rated it a fucking 8.
I know.
An 8.
I know.
You rated a fucking 8 out of 10.
I'm
Hitchcock's
definitely-
rolling in his
Don't rate
grave.
shame. Don't rate shame. That's not fair.
But no, legitimately, as we're talking about it, I'm like, yeah,
It's a really
I
good
should have
movie.
gone higher, and
But I feel
by
like
the end,
it's
I might
also-
change. Yeah,
It's also one of those movies where you appreciate it more when you really start to think about it and like dissect
like I said,
it.
I literally watched
But that
it like
happens constantly
a
with
couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
So like,
No, that's completely fine. I shouldn't rate shame you.
No,
Will's totally right.
no, don't worry about that. I straight up have been thinking this whole time, like, you know what, I should.
I think it's also because you caught me off guard with the 8. I was like, boof, all right.
No, that's fair. Like I
I was
definitely,
like, man, I guess he thought it was fine.
and it was.
10 out of 10 is a great. That's a fucking.
I know,
best new
but I'm
music
also
on Pitchfork.
I'm also thinking back to like how I used to rate movies where I rated shit as like a 7 when I thought I didn't like it.
Yeah, same.
But like I need to adjust that rating system, which I have through our podcasts.
You've realized that like, wow, there's actually some really bad stuff, and then
Well,
when you,
and there's just more nuance to rating.
True.
Than like just giving something a rating because you
Rating
feel
is
bad.
fucking
but
hard.
like today's society feels like if it's not a 9 or a 10, it's not worth it, and it's
Right.
like that's not the way it should be.
Not at all. There's literally room for almost every
Number.
rating.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
I can
there is
understand not
space,
ever wanting to see something that's like a 1 or a 2 or a 3.
but there's also a space for that.
yeah,
A bunch of homies hanging out, getting drunk, and watching a knowingly terrible movie
It's fun.
Is a worthwhile thing.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
what was it? One of like this one guy, Jello Apocalypse on YouTube. He does
Yeah.
like animated stuff.
Yeah.
He did a whole rating system where he actually decided instead of doing 1 to 10, he did 10 to -10.
Oh.
And then so when you hit the negatives, like a -10 is a fucking awful movie, but you should absolutely watch it because it's hilarious.
Interesting.
And then
10 is like
10,
brilliant.
and then you get down there to where it's like you're at a -1. It's like it's bad and it's funny, but it's still not
don't seek it out.
funny enough to be. It's not bad
Ah.
enough to be that funny,
I really like that. To be
and that
honest
kind of
with
thing.
you.
And I really appreciated that rating
Yeah.
system, but obviously we're not going to steal that. We're just going to stick with our.
No,
one
of
to-
course. There's one on YouTube. ACG is a video game reviewer.
Yeah.
And he does like buy, wait for sale, rent, or never touch. I think is the 4. It might be 3. Similar thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
Jeremy
you
Jans
need to
does
play
that.
it right away, or you can wait on it, or like don't pay full price for it, rent it, whatever.
Yeah.
Or don't ever play it.
And then Jeremy Jans does a similar thing where he's got like awesome tacular, great time, no alcohol required, great time, alcohol required,
Yeah. Ooh.
dog shit, all
like
sorts
that.
of bad
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot of nuance to it.
For sure.
So-
Rating's hard because two things can have the same rating,
Right.
but like objectively, but then when you put them next to each other, it's like they absolutely are not the same.
Not to mention the fact that
I find that constantly. I do that so much, especially when I look back, because like right now, I like when we started this podcast, I'm like trying to find things to show you guys,
Right.
And I go back and I just start at top rated, like on my IMDb page,
Yeah.
And so many of the things that I rated in high school, I feel like I rated them super high. One, because like they were
New to you.
They were new to me. 2, because like my friends showed them and I know that they liked them. And then 3 was like that they were critically acclaimed.
Right.
And so like I feel like a lot of my ratings are skewed to where now if I watch them, I would rate them lower. Like similar to this movie, I know I just like shouted out, "Hey, I'm going to rate it back a 10" because I get excited. But like this movie I did originally rate a 10 and I bumped it down to a 9 where I feel like it actually probably should sit. Because it's obviously not like my favorite Hitchcock movie, but it is super fucking good.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
But like a lot of these type of similar movies, I rated super high, basically because of peer pressure, whether it was from my friends or from society.
For sure. And like, I'm not gonna say this is what I'm doing, but like I'm like by the end of this, I'm probably gonna bump up my rating to at least a 0.5 higher.
Yeah.
And not due to peer pressure, like because
You also discover things when you talk about
as
it.
we're talking about things, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that. And I was also like, the last thing I saw was that gun scene which is the reason
It threw you off a little bit.
It threw me off a little bit.
Which
of the
I
whole
totally,
thing.
yeah, I get
but
it.
And also,
you know more about that shit than we do. Like, whenever I see a gun in movies, I don't think twice.
It's just
I
a
know
prop.
that I know that it's a prop. I know that it's gonna be like any movie where it's gonna be a device for whatever they want to do with it. It's not gonna be accurate.
But
Like,
there's real, like in my mind, there's always
real world percussions.
real world implications on it. Especially a snub nose. A snub nose is gonna be loud.
I don't know. A
I just
snub
know
nose
from
revolver means nothing to me other than less accuracy.
Video games.
A little
Less
bit, yeah.
accuracy in video games.
Definitely less accuracy, less muzzle velocity, stuff like that. Depending on the caliber, which I didn't get to look at it long enough to figure that out.
Oh, it's
but
a 38.
38. I mean, actually, you're not wrong. It could be.
Dab.
But like, I don't know, just like parts of it, because like with the snub nose, some of the powder, depending on the caliber, might not be burned off in the chamber, because in the chamber and then barrel is where a lot of the speed and stuff is gained, because powder is continuing to burn and increasing pressure on the way out. So a lot of that outside. So that's just like a boom. That's a big boom.
Yeah,
That's a big loud bang.
for sure.
So for me, like, that was the last thing I saw, and that was again a few hours ago. So
Yes.
as we discuss it, my review will probably change by the end of this discussion. but
Also, jumping back a little bit earlier into the film, when
much earlier.
Much earlier, when Janet is first introduced, she has like really great lines. Like she
is awesome.
She's amazing. She's, I think, one of my favorite characters, and I feel like she is like overshadowed a lot by Jimmy Stewart, but like.
And the whole plot as a whole, she's not
everything
used
that
enough.
she says is like so like well thought out and like very smart. Like,
and like her jokes, like she was talking like.
she's also gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
She has
I don't
a
know
lot
who
of-
the actress is, but like she's did very well.
She has a lot of presence in those first 10, 15 minutes before Jimmy Stewart shows up, where she's talking about she's always funny when she's not trying to be funny, but when she tries to be funny, it always is a dud.
Yeah.
Like that stuff was really great and like immediately draws
Joanne
you to her.
Chandler is her name.
Yeah,
Yeah, never heard of her.
doesn't seem like her top known for the number one is Rope.
Only 14 things, not a whole lot, but she did a great job in this movie.
Yeah, that's
did.
wild. Maybe she was more of a theater actress.
Maybe.
I mean, I feel like
It's
a lot of
definitely
these people
possible.
could have been theater people
because of the medium.
Right.
Like,
Also,
that
the
was- even
long-
though I say medium, it was film, but
Yeah.
like the
But the long
style.
takes
Right.
and stuff, yeah, definitely probably lends itself more to theater, because in theater you get
God damn, I love a long take.
you get one go in theater.
This is
so.
really showing you guys what type of movies I like.
total sucker for a long take though. That's why Children of Men is still one of my favorite movies.
I
of all time.
love Children of Men because of the long takes.
Yeah.
Love a good long take. Have
And
you not seen Children of
1917.
Men?
Oh, we're
I'm
gonna
gonna
show it
fucking
to
dab on your ass, dude, here in a second.
I have it on DVD.
Hey,
We'll
we
bring it.
talked about it. I didn't get into film until really late.
I know.
Okay, like, and I was doing my best to try and keep up with it, but now I'm trying not
We're
to
here
keep.
now.
I'm trying not to keep up with it because
Yeah.
you guys are going to show me stuff, and then that way we can get my reaction on recording.
There we go.
So-
and also, so
Good
Kenneth
content.
is her ex-boyfriend, and he
Janet.
is Janet's ex-boyfriend. He's their friend.
Yeah.
He is invited. They basically are. It's like Brandon's weird plot to get them back together, which
Brandon
is really
is
bizarre.
just fucking.
He's, like,
crazy.
so
He's
controlling.
a sociopath. Yeah, it's wild.
And it's weird also that like it's got to be weird for her. I mean, it is. It's clearly
sure.
it's clearly weird.
She's
for her.
very- she's
pissed.
obviously
But that
uncomfortable.
she's in a room with two ex-boyfriends and she doesn't know where the fuck her boyfriend
I don't.
is.
Yeah.
I think another reason why she's so chill though with Brandon, because she never brings up the whole issue with Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't think
And they
she
were
even
all
thinks
friends.
about Brandon as an ex-lover.
No.
I don't think she does because probably because she knows that he's gay.
I think it's also because she thinks he's fucking weird.
Well, yeah, but like I think she knows that him and Philip are a thing, and
Yeah,
so it's like,
This is like the Craig and Eric thing all over again.
hey,
I don't
to be
know that.
fair,
Drake and Josh, the two nerd
I
characters.
still don't
Trevor thinks that they're gay lovers.
despite the fact that Craig very much goes out with girls at one point. So,
That doesn't mean anything.
Cover up.
Yeah.
well, like he takes his opportunity and immediately gets rid of Eric as well. So,
Janet,
anyways,
when she finds out, when she like, I don't remember what exactly she does, but she pulls Brandon to the side, like, "Oh, is this a new piece of art?"
and
I think
he's
is what she
like,
says.
I don't
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Because she wants to bring him into
She's
the main area.
fucking pissed,
She's so pissed.
and that shit is great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also we find out later that Brandon like talked to them in different ways, kind of like when he first talks to them, basically bringing up David. He always brings up David in every conversation that he has, somehow or one way or another. It's like he talks to each of them about like how he doesn't know that that Janet is dating David, or that he thinks that Kenneth will be able to get back with Janet. That he has a really good shot with her. And basically, towards the end, they figure out that the
he
two
said
things
two
don't
different
line
things.
up. Yeah,
Right.
basically the two things. I don't know what the actual wording was, but the two things don't line up.
Right.
Like he said something to Janet about oh my God, what's his name again?
Which guy?
The dead guy.
Kenneth and David is the dead one. David's the dead one.
David, sorry.
David's
oh my
dead
God.
as fuck.
My
David
brain
couldn't
just,
be deader.
Yeah, so
He doesn't
about,
wake up in the chest.
he says something to
Spoiler.
her about David, like, oh, I don't know where he is, why he's not here, or whatever. Like, he has no idea what's going on with David. But then to Kenneth, he's like, I think you have a good shot with her tonight.
Yeah.
Which, if David was coming, he would not have a good shot with her. So that's the thing.
Fucking hat.
That's the thing that they really get mad at him about, is that, like, based on those two conversations, it's very obvious that he knew that David wasn't coming tonight.
Yeah.
They don't know why.
And we missed it earlier. You said her name was Mrs. Wilson, right?
Miss Wilson.
Mrs. Wilson. She also mentions later to Rupert, and she mentions in the beginning that she had to go all the way across town. She was gone all day, sent off by Brandon.
Like
to be able to get this dessert.
Yeah, she had to hurry.
And she had to get out of the apartment. She wasn't in there all day.
Apartment set up, but then they were like, take the afternoon to figure out the rest of the shopping.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and
and they made sure she didn't have her key either.
Yes. And this all comes back up when she's talking to Rupert, which is actually a really interesting shot too, because it is shown from the perspective of the hallway, where the back of the camera is the dining room, and the front of the camera is like this wall that where the camera and crew would have been, but it's a new wall that's in placement because it's after a camera change.
Yep.
So you wouldn't have been it's like you can see the wall behind the chest, and you can see them, Rupert and Mrs. Wilson, talking to each other as he's eating dessert. I just feel like it's a really interesting shot because you never see a shot really from that perspective
until
ever
that
again.
point. True.
And it's
Did they show the fourth wall though?
They do see you see the fourth wall.
Really? I could have swore it was
They put
only
a-
the side wall that we see. Like, it was straight onto the side.
No, they actually they
Was there a
do
fourth?
they do show
Oh,
the fourth wall. Yeah, it's put back in, but
Damn.
Again, it's after they do a cut. It's like right after they do a cut behind it has to be Brandon's jacket. Right, it's always Brandon's jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah?
constantly-
Because he
his
has
is
the
dark
darkest
blue.
jacket on.
His is dark blue, and the other dudes are wearing brown jackets.
Right.
Which is when I was trying to figure out who the characters were. I just kept
Philip
writing
is brown.
brown suit.
Rupert is gray,
for the
I
thrill,
think.
and then I wrote brown suit, blonde hair.
Yeah.
Nervous
Nervous.
because
Bitch.
he's like
He's a bitch.
no, he's like, I totally understand his sentiment. I wouldn't want to be at this party either.
No,
Why
straight
the fuck
up.
was he invited to this party? It
Why-
makes no sense.
Why was he... Wait, which one?
Not Rupert. Kenneth.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were talking about Philip again.
Yeah, why was
no?
Kenneth feels like why would he even be invited?
Yeah,
to
that
this
was
party?
weird. Like, especially...
But all the people piece together why would they be invited to this party? The only thing they have together is basically David.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
that's
sick,
why.
it's sick
Mr.
as fuck though. Like when
It's
you
crazy.
Mr. What's his name?
Oh, sorry, no, I have you.
Miss Atwater's brother-in-law.
His name is Mr. Ketley.
Mr. Ketley is there because of the books.
But also because
First
he's
editions.
David's father.
First edition.
Yeah, but first
And he's
editions.
David's father, yes. But that's probably
But
why
the
he would
initial
even
reason-
be interested in giving him the books at all.
Right.
Yes, the initial reason is because of the books.
Yes.
Like whenever he talks to Rupert about it, he's like, "Well, I wanted to give Mr. Ketley these first editions, and I also wanted to have a going away party for Philip because he's going to this farm.
His-
or-
Brandon's
where's he going?
mom's farm up in Connecticut.
Weird sick fucks, man. Like-
Because he's going to be isolated for 6 months or something
'Cause he has
before
to
a
practice,
performance or
yeah.
something. Which is weird.
Yeah. It's
also in the beginning,
Definitely together.
Philip
Definitely together.
breaks this martini glass on his hand, which they're drinking champagne out of martini glasses the entire
Weird.
film.
No champagne
Did
flutes.
anybody else notice that?
Yeah, that was
No.
weird.
Like their bar set though was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous, and they were. So
The
that
whole
was one of the
apartment.
things at the very
Dude, that,
beginning.
That back window.
ridiculous.
Can you imagine how much they spent on it? Like in
They're
today's
rich
money, like,
for sure.
in-
But like one of the things that I was like kind of concerned, like in the very beginning, whenever he picks up the glass and is wiping it off, and he's like something about, oh, I'd hate to break up the set because I assume David drank out of one of the glasses before they killed him.
Yes, no, they did. That's why he brought it up, because they said they wanted to keep that glass as a memento because he's a fucking sociopath.
Yeah, one of my first notes was, glass will be the downfall. Obviously, I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
but
well,
like,
each moment that happens, you think
think
that's going to be
the
the downfall.
and that's also
like,
part
I
of
thought
the
I'd already seen it. I thought it was going to be the rope, and then that didn't happen.
I thought it was going to be Miss
I thought it was going to
Atwood.
be the glass.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be what?
Miss Atwood, whenever she starts doing the psychic reading thing or whatever, I'm like, she's going to somehow...
Miss Atwater.
Miss Atwater, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Just call her a stupid accent lady.
Miss
No,
whenever
I'm
she
glad
does
I
the
wrote
psychic...
down all the names now.
Yeah.
When she does the psychic reading thing, I was like... Somehow, whenever she walks over to the chest
But
or
a lot
something,
of the things that she predicted were true.
she was
She
right.
said the hands were going to make him famous.
But that's why-
he strangled a person. He'll
Right.
probably be famous on the news. Like,
But that's why I
And he
thought
knew
she
that
was
right
going to be
away.
the one.
yeah, you could see it every time. You could see the fucking reaction on his face because this character could not hold himself together.
How did no one pick up on that?
I think they just think Philip is weird.
But he's never been like that according
He's
to everyone's...
artistic.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's weird. Just
He's
let him
a-
be artistic.
Yeah, that's why
yes.
you're weird, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
then,
brother.
what? And
You're
then,
not that
so we also find out that when Brandon is talking to Rupert, that Brandon stutters when he's excited.
Yes.
Which is a thing that Rupert brings up, because Brandon is basically trying to make up lies as he goes on.
Yeah.
So before we find out that that's why he's stuttering, I was really confused. I was like, why the fuck is Brandon suddenly losing his shit?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I get
he
you.
has been calm, cool, and collected this whole time.
Well, he hasn't had a one-on-one with Rupert yet.
And then in
Right.
this one moment with Rupert, he's losing his
Rupert's
shit.
the one. Rupert is like the
The god
when you
figure.
play chess, he's like the fucking king or queen. Like
He's
the
a grand-
one.
Name?
he's the Grand Master.
Karkovsky was the chess master's name.
Karchovsky, I think.
I don't know.
Whatever. Y'all,
You guys know out there.
Drop it in the comments.
But he's
Tarkovsky.
he's the guy to where
At
if,
me on Twitter.
I'm not on Twitter.
he's
Amen, brother.
he's the guy to where if they can fool him, they can fool anybody.
Right.
It's basically their thoughts.
He's the litmus test.
He's the litmus test, but also he's the litmus
And
test. They think
also-
if they fail it, he'll
be okay.
he'll join up, kind of deal.
Which
That's
is
true.
crazy.
But that's what they think. That's what at least Brandon thinks.
Because Brandon's a dumb bastard.
Well, Brandon's a sociopathic bastard.
But
Yeah, no, he's not dumb at
He's
all.
incredibly
actually very
intelligent.
smart. Yeah.
He's just a little delusional. Well, not a little. He's very delusional.
And then the next part comes up after they are serving dinner. They talk about how Philip doesn't eat chicken. And
Yeah.
Janet is like, why don't you eat chicken? Everybody has a reason for why they don't eat something.
Freud, she name drops Freud.
Yeah, exactly.
Which completely, like,
There's
almost,
a reason for everything.
almost none of his theories are true. But, you know, what are you going to do about that?
And then Brandon starts to tell a story
What? Did you
about
not know that?
how...
Most of Freud's theories are pretty much bogus and bullshit. He just still is incredibly, like, in the popular culture as being significant. But a lot of his stuff is incredibly well disproven.
I'm gonna let you guys fact check that. And then so Brandon starts to tell a story about how Philip one time when they were at the farm choked out a chicken.
Well, he wrung its neck, which is different.
Oh, is that when you break its neck or something?
Yeah, you take it by the head and you just whip it around.
Right on. Show
I've done
us
that with
motion
I've done
again.
that with pheasant. Whenever my cousin.
Damn, Trevor's a murderer.
No, it's dying anyways. My cousin at Bergkamp on the ranch, they do
Fucking shout out Bergkamp.
What is Bergkamp?
Have you been to
Bergkamp. It's on some relatives' property. They do they run quail and pheasant hunts off out of there, and it's the area of the land that they do it off of.
Is it like a day camp?
It's just Bergkamp.
They have like a big like entertainment area with like a little shack, like a shack with the office and stuff for the business there, and that's where they bring all the people who've paid to come do the hunts. They do like lunch for them afterwards, and
So it's like a one-day thing or like a summer-long thing? Because
One
I'm
day
thinking
thing.
like summer camp.
no, one day thing.
So bird camp.
It's just what we call it.
Okay.
It's not even officially called that. It's called something else, which I'm not sure if I should.
Classic new to the podcast.
Not
Very
sure if I
new,
should
yeah,
name drop
sorry.
it or not. So
No,
I'm just gonna leave it.
Don't worry about it. Also,
But-
I'll just name drop real quick. Dennis Bergkamp. Great soccer player.
Anyways,
One of the greatest goals of all time.
Damn, that's caught me off
anyways,
guard.
I've run a dog for 1 year.
I run a dog.
They give me a dog, and then I'm the handler for the dog, and the dog goes and fetches the pheasant after it's been shot and brings it back to me, and then I hand it off to the guy who's coming around collecting all the birds. And if it's not totally dead, I got to ring it. You just grab it by the head and whip it around.
What kind of dog are we talking?
A lab. His name was Major. He's a very good boy. I have
chocolate lab, black
chocolate
lab.
I have
lab.
a photo on my phone I can show you afterwards.
All
He's
right,
a good boy.
We'll post it on the Twitter.
He was the easiest dog to work
On the
with.
subreddit.
But yeah, great dog. Fun. That was a fun time.
Shout out Major.
I got paid.
Shout out dead birds.
I had to clean all the dead birds afterwards, which kind of sucked.
Gross.
But yeah, so after that, Rupert talks about how it's okay to murder, basically. He starts talking about his own
Philosophy.
his own philosophy that he's created.
That's a great scene.
You know that guy that annoyed you? Just slit his neck. That
and Brandon goes all in on it.
Right, and then
Rupert
Mr. Ketley,
basically stops talking.
yeah, lets Brandon
go all out.
wax lyrical, and then Mr. Ketley gets upset.
Mr. Ketley, I feel like would be a really big fan of the Purge movies.
What?
Mr.
Mr.
Ketley?
Rupley. I'm Rupert. I'm sorry, Rupert.
Mr. Rupley.
I'm so sorry, Rupert.
Rupert, yeah.
Rupert would be a big fan.
Yeah.
He's
I was
talking
thinking
about
that too,
Strangle
yeah.
Week
For sure.
or whatever, and I'm like, all right, yeah.
They for sure got that idea from this movie.
Also, the
More
amount
than
of
likely.
times that he name drops things about the murder during that speech, like he mentions strangle, he mentions murder, he mentions, I think he mentions chest. He mentions almost every detail of the actual murder of David.
Rupert?
And
Yeah.
Philip is fucking dying.
It's part of the script almost.
I don't know. He also talks about slitting people's throats, though.
I know.
And then torture and a bunch of other stuff.
But he's also mentioning every single detail of the David murder within that speech. Consequentially, it's not obviously he
Okay.
doesn't know.
I didn't pick up on
It's just part
that,
of the
but
script.
Yeah, nice.
It was fucking cool.
Very cool.
And then after that is when the dessert is starting to get served.
Great looking sundae.
Mr. Ketley goes into the dining room with Brandon and with the Miss Atwood and Janet, and they look over the first editions. And then Philip and Rupert and Mrs. Wilson, they stay in the living room. And this is where you see that shot that we were talking about earlier, where you see the fourth wall, and where the two are talking. And then Rupert starts to talk to Philip. Philip, at this point, he's starting to get drunk. He starts to play the piano again, and this is where Rupert is finally starting to really grill about the missing David problem, basically.
And also
the
the fact-
issue that's happening.
And also the fact that he freaked out so hard for the chicken story, despite the
Yes,
fact
exactly.
he absolutely has killed chickens.
Right.
Yeah, they keep bringing it up. He's for sure killed, I think, multiple chickens.
Well, probably.
I
That's
think
the-
that's his
that's what you
thing.
did. No, that's what you
And
did back
Rupert
then.
knows it.
Like my
yeah,
grandma
Rupert knows the story.
Yeah.
He's like, I know the story. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which is also sick as fuck. What are they talking about?
It's
man?
not that bad. Like it's literally the thing people did back then because
Kill chickens just randomly? Just
No.
kill chickens?
you just kill them for dinner. Like because they were talking about.
That's not what it seemed like, though.
I mean, that's literally what they were talking about, though.
I don't know, man.
Because like my grandma, my dad's always talked about the story. They would put, they'd be out there and they'd be cutting the heads off chickens, and they'd have to throw it under they had a big wash tub, and then after they'd cut the head off, they'd throw them under there, because chicken with the head cut off is a real thing.
Right.
And so they had to chuck them under there, and
I don't know. I guess I'm too much of a city boy for you. You know, I have
You're
never,
a suburb boy.
I've never fucking killed a chicken in my life.
I mean, I have.
Never killed an
mind.
animal.
I killed a bird by accident one time, and it was one of the most traumatizing
You
experiences
sick
of my
fuck.
life. Yeah, it was fucked up. I'll save that story for a different podcast.
Right on, brother.
No, I've
Very
definitely,
sad day.
The bird pod.
The bird pod.
I've definitely killed a chicken, but it was
We'll tell it when we watch Bird Box
that.
Right on.
That's
that'd
a
be
very
good.
different thing, isn't it?
or Birds by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, that I've got some stuff to talk
Or
about.
Yeah.
I've got
so,
some ideas for that one.
or Lady Bird.
That also probably has nothing to do with birds.
It definitely doesn't. So the books are tied up with the rope. Also, my next note is that they have a really, really fucking good long shot of everybody talking in the living room, but the shot stays on Mrs. Wilson.
So good.
As she's cleaning off the chest.
So good.
Getting closer and closer and closer
Fucking
and closer
terrifying.
towards opening the chest.
I really thought
as
they were gonna
everyone
stop
is
her
talking,
earlier.
Everyone is just talking about how David's missing.
Yeah,
And it's like the juxtaposition of these two things is like so excellently
it's
done.
fucking perfect. My note is, how does no one notice her cleaning off this chest? I was freaking out.
Yeah, and like they even open it partially
And then Brandon comes over.
And Brandon comes over and pushes it down and says, "Oh no, actually, Mrs. Wilson, I need you to come in tomorrow anyway to clean, so you can just do the books later."
Which is
because
wild.
Rupert is also helping her lift the chest. Because Rupert is something.
super suspicious.
He couldn't be more suspicious.
That was my note from earlier. Was Rupert is suspicious, and then I have a little dash, and then I just write very, very, because I think something else happened that made him even more suspicious.
And after this, Rupert sees the fucking hat. So everybody leaves. Everybody leaves the apartment.
For Brandon, who is so meticulous.
Yeah, they didn't think about it.
How did he not think about
it in the end either? He didn't ever realize that was the reason.
Why
that was
did you leave that man's hat in the closet?
Why did you put it in the closet in the first place?
How can you be that smart and that stupid at the same fucking time?
Yeah, so for the hat thing,
fucking wild.
Mrs. Wilson hands Rupert a hat because everybody's leaving and he's the last to leave. And he looks at it and tries it on, and it's too small, and he looks at it again, and the camera shot, you can clearly say it says DK, as in David Ketley.
In gold initials.
David Ketley.
Also, just briefly, Miss Wilson was not home when David came over. No. So either Brandon or Philip put that hat in the closet.
Yes, yeah, they did. They absolutely did.
Well,
I think Brandon did.
Idiot!
I think it was absolutely Brandon and not Philip.
It was.
For sure. Because Brandon answers the door.
Well, because Brandon is a fucking son of a bitch. I just feel like it had to have been him.
Also, when Rupert is going through, in a little while, when Rupert's going through what he thinks happened, when Brandon goads him on, like, well, how would you have done it? What would you have done?
Oh, yeah, because he came back, because he, in quotes, forgot his cigarette case, which you see him back up towards the chest, because it's when they started to put Brandon started to put the books back on the chest to try to disguise it so no one would open it, basically.
Right.
And he hides the cigarette case behind the books, and then what you were talking about comes down next.
Yeah, and then he finds the cigarette case and then starts talking about, like, Brandon goads him on this whole time. Well, also at this point, Brandon has a gun.
Philip couldn't be more drunk.
Philip is drunk and panicking. They have a whole.
And he does have a gun. He has a snub nose 38, like you were saying.
I assume it's a 38. I'm sure if I look up IMFDB, which is the Internet Movie Firearms Database.
What the fuck? That exists?
I look at that website way too often because I see a gun in a movie. I'm like, I want to know what that is, and I'm like,
you're sick, dude.
How am I sick?
That's crazy.
IMFDB. I'm like, come on. How is that? How have you guys not looked that up before? Anyways, at this point, yeah, Brandon has a gun and is like goading on Rupert, like, so.
Because Rupert's describing about how he would have done it.
Yeah, and then Rupert totally knows.
Rupert knows.
And instead of saying...
They do a shot. They pan down and see the shot of fucking... When Brandon thinks that Rupert's getting too close to figuring it out, he has the gun pointed up. You can fucking see that.
Rupert totally knows at that point.
Of course he knows.
And so Rupert quick diverts off.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I would have brought him outside.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have put him in the chest like anyone else would have. No, he's outside. To the car. Yeah, to the car.
And they're like, but it's broad daylight. How would you have done it if?
And he's like,
daylight?
I guess I'm dumb. I don't know.
And then he looks around and he's like, so you'd have to leave him somewhere in the dark, somewhere inside the house. And he looks around and he eventually breaks into it, like, basically knowing he catches him. And he says that he knows he has the gun. And that was the triggering factor.
And then Brandon, though,
he was like, I wasn't truly suspicious until I saw the gun.
But Brandon, at that point, is still trying to play it off. And he's like, I just got to take it up to the country whenever we go.
Philip, can you believe this?
And he just throws it on the piano.
He's like, Philip, he thinks the gun is for murder. Lol.
Yeah, that part was great.
It's like such... Brandon's trying to save face.
Yeah, I mean, especially because the camera stays on Rupert, and then in the background you hear...
It only goes from Rupert to the gun, back and forth.
Which is awesome.
And, to Philip, drunk as fuck.
Couldn't
drunk. Be more drunk.
Great
he
drunk
smashes
action.
it. He smashes a glass at one point.
Yeah, great drunk
saying, I'm sick of this cat and mouse, which, Rupert...
And that was the payoff that I was alluding to earlier, all these little things keep building up, and then it gets to a point where Philip is just cat and mouse, and he just shouts it over and over, and he's had enough.
Yeah.
Right? And he basically admits to the crime.
He's had enough of Brandon's shit.
He admits to it. You have to be so perfect with all your little touches and whatever, and he, criticizes
And
Brandon.
even then, Brandon is trying to save face.
Right. Oh, he's drunk. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's like, oh, this guy's ridiculous.
Right.
So the gun, by the way, I just looked it up, is a Cult Detective Special, 38 Special. You called it on the 38.
IMFDB.
So
Didn't need it. I already knew.
But good call on it though.
I don't
That
know
was
shit
nice.
about guns or guns about shit, but it doesn't matter.
Cobb's a sweat star on Call of Duty.
God damn it. But yeah, so they fight over the gun, Rupert and Philip.
And then Rupert, a shot goes off.
A shot goes off into
the floor.
It doesn't actually hit his hand. I think you're right. I think it is the blast because it was not facing
If you
his
grip
hand.
a revolver around the end of the cylinder, a lot of gas escapes between the cylinder and the barrel.
And
So
big
that
cut.
can really
Ooh,
hurt.
Ouchie.
That can, with a high enough caliber, I'm pretty sure people have had, bits of skin, blown off of their hands.
Hurts.
So, hurts a lot.
But yeah, so then...
But nobody hears that or finds a bullet through their ceiling. So
And in the end,
Thick floors.
Rupert opens the chest.
yes.
He gets in an argument with Brandon,
And we have a nice red light on his face as soon as he opens the chest, because there's that sign outside the window that's
Well,
red,
yeah, all the
green, and
windows are
white.
open because they reopened them because they needed light, and
for the party.
and all
The
of the
blinds.
lights are flickering. You can hear every now and again, which all of this is expertly done. You can hear cars honking, like they're clearly in the city.
There
you
is-
can hear it. You can hear it when the windows are closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't hear the voices until the windows
Okay.
open. But yeah, he opens the chest and they start having their conversation.
But I loved the red light. I'm sorry. At that
It's very good. It's
Exact
very good.
At the exact moment
'Cause
he
there's
opens
neon
it, the
building
neon
lights.
red goes on his face, and I was like, "Where the fuck's that coming from?" And then it changed, and I was like, "Oh right, it was so good."
There's just so much going on. And then well, basically Rupert he needs to be able to get the police.
Rupert's
And-
trying not to die right now.
Yeah, he's trying not to die. He does have the gun though.
Yeah, but
and he goes over to the window and fires it off multiple times.
fires it off 3 times, so he still has 2 shots left if they
And
both
then you
come at
start
him.
to hear people talking to each other, where'd that come from? What's that? Oh, I think it was up in that building. And then it pans, it zooms out. And then there's an excellent last line, which is what I was thinking of at the very end. So Philip is playing the piano, Brandon is making himself a drink, and Rupert sits down in the
Kinda watching
in
them
the
both.
foreground with the gun, and all Philip says is, "They're coming." And it's
So
just
good.
it's such an excellent scene. All you hear in the background is the sirens start to come, but and most of the buildup is from the background noise of people talking to each other, saying
Someone
they're
call the
coming,
police.
saying that the sirens start to blare. It's so fucking well done.
You know
and that
what?
last shot is amazing with the piano, and you can see Brandon's face as he pours himself his last drink of just knowing that his perfect plan didn't go perfectly, and the person that they thought would be with them was not. It was so fucking well done.
That
This
whole
the last
speech,
scene really.
The Rupert speech.
the
was
whole Rupert speech was fucking amazing.
Unbelievable.
Whenever he realizes that, I feel like he realizes that he created
Oh
Brandon.
yeah, that
Yeah.
part.
And
Yeah,
then
we skipped
also
over that.
tries to justify to himself, "No, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You had it in your mind the whole all along."
Right. There's no part of me that could have done this, but you clearly had that part of you.
But it is partially his fault.
Well,
Right,
100%.
He
planted
gave
the
them
seed.
the excuse to
Yeah.
do it.
I mean, what does that say?
I mean, Brandon would have done it, I think, no matter what, eventually in his life. He's that
Yeah.
type of person. Philip, I think he definitely gave Philip, gave Brandon the ammunition to get Philip in on this with him. You know what I mean? Remember
I think
remember
there was
what Rupert used to say and all that stuff?
Yeah.
That would definitely have helped him convince Philip, if nothing else.
I mean, I think there was something for sure wrong with Brandon.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
Rupert gave them the ammunition, though. Rupert was it was his fault, essentially, in my opinion. I think that even though he was the one that got the police involved and got them caught, it was his fault.
Well, I think he
David's blood is
realizes
essentially on his hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he realizes that.
He's
though.
going to have to live with
That's
that the rest of his
why-
life.
That's why he makes the
Yeah,
decision
you
he
can't-
does.
The things that he brings up so nonchalantly at this party, is like something that someone could take, especially at an impressionable age, so seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if they were in prep school, it was probably high school. So they were either high school or middle school when they were in prep school.
Yeah.
Quotes.
Why the fuck are you philosophizing murder to high schoolers?
And that is exactly what it was. Like
Right.
that's at such an age where like you're so impressionable.
So impressionable.
Like
also weird that they're still friends with him.
You see that today with people that get killed in schools and stuff like that. Like people that are either impressioned in the wrong things or bullied or they get a part of some wrong crowd and then something fucking happens and they rip off. Like it's exactly what this fucking shit is. Like
For sure.
Except these guys are a little bit older. They should have fucking known better. Except the guy's clearly mentally ill.
Right. But
It took him this long, I guess,
fucking good movie, man.
Very good. I'm definitely upping my rating by at least 0.5, so I'm at 8.5
There he is,
now.
my guy.
Yeah, I love.
And also talking through it again, I will say with how fast this police sirens show up, it's definitely possible someone did hear that first gunshot.
It's quick. It's super quick.
You know what?
Especially in New York.
Now that I'm thinking about it again, maybe the people downstairs did in fact call the police
because they're
beforehand.
talking and then like they say we should call the police or whatever they say. Hey, somebody called the police.
And then, like, seconds later.
it's almost immediate.
So now thinking back on it, yeah, someone might have fucking heard that
Might have.
first gunshot
Hear
and
that out of Gunboy Trevor.
hey, you know what? I'm all more than willing to change opinions based on new
No,
information.
right on.
So
I appreciate that.
it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Can I hit some stray notes real quick?
Yes,
Yeah, for
yes,
sure.
Please.
The metronome
Oh yeah.
when Rupert
So good.
is like fully interrogating Philip at the piano. Just phenomenal use of the metronome.
Great news. It's
Like,
so intense.
It ratchets up the tension tenfold.
Oh,
It was
for
already
sure.
tense enough.
It becomes an interrogation.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's
basically like shining a light in Philip's face.
It's like when
Even after he makes him turn off the light.
Right.
yeah,
Because
it's
he
like,
was pulling that
That's
the
a
old
great point.
investigator trick.
That's a great
Yeah.
point. Yeah, put the light in his face. No, please turn the light off.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll turn the light off, but I'll put this fucking metronome
But I turn the
on.
metronome on
Yeah.
right afterwards
Yeah,
and
just-
kick you into it.
it's like in other films when they have the loud clock ticking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah, really great.
That methodical dunk,
Right.
dunk, the ever encroaching doom.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's
It
so
was
good.
Really great. I have one line from Philip to Brandon from between the time where the party ends and then Rupert returns to the apartment. At least if I have a hangover, it's all mine.
Yeah.
He's like, you've basically been puppeteering me,
Yeah,
but let me get drunk in this moment because at least the hangover will be of my own volition.
for sure.
I
sure.
like that a lot.
That was good.
Also, I do want to say, I just thought of it. There were some great moments where Philip, you see his reaction shots, and then it pans out a little bit, and you see Rupert just staring at
In the
it.
background, yeah.
Just staring at his
Amazing.
face. Like catching these nuances that
Yeah.
everybody else isn't looking at Philip.
Rupert is
because Brandon is always the center of attention.
Yeah.
And you can see him piecing together stuff in his head. I
Yeah.
think that's really great. Like it just works up to the big moment
it's
where
just
you
Hitchcock.
know he's coming
It's
back.
Hitchcock, dude. The
For
blocking
sure.
is fucking impeccable.
It's amazing.
Also,
amazing.
in that moment between Rupert coming back, before Rupert comes back and after everyone else has left, why does Brandon suddenly seem so suspicious? Like, did you notice whenever they're going to like open the chest to get the body out, and they're like, "Oh, we should close the blinds and stuff." His face, he just seems so suddenly worried and suspicious, like
I think because
out
a
of
little
nowhere.
It
It just was weird to me.
Yeah, I think it's because a little bit of weight has been lifted off his shoulders. The big part is done, and now he's just got to get rid of the
I
situation.
guess the high is done. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
like it's all over for him, like his big moment. So now he's just got to get rid of the situation.
Also, good thing Brandon didn't shit himself. Or no, David didn't shit himself when he died. Like,
I was thinking that too. I was like,
Yeah.
don't bodies shit themselves?
so
So it would have smelled horrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
if he needed to take a shit, he absolutely would have shit
but it's a
himself.
movie, so that shit never happens.
Yeah.
it only happens in fucking South Park.
It only happens when it's funny in movies,
exactly.
I guess. It's
Like,
like,
so essentially, it doesn't exist in this.
or if they're
cinematic
going for
universe.
like crazy realism, like
Yeah.
like and like the smell and stuff.
Yeah.
But
A la
Like-
Parasite.
There you go.
it's a good thing that he didn't shit himself.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
I will
because
say
they,
that people in the 40s probably didn't ever think about that.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
Like,
So-
We're thinking about this from
It's a
70
dead
years
body.
of-
Why would it smell? He hasn't decomposed yet.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. No, perfectly, yeah.
Yeah.
My last note, I just love the fact that Hitchcock chooses to end it. on the fact that nothing exists in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Like that moment of opening up the windows in earnest and like letting the city come in.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie has been in this apartment.
Yeah.
And then like, hey, the world exists outside this apartment.
Yeah.
That was like a really powerful moment for me personally. Just
So
like,
good.
I mean, it's fucking.
I've been thinking about that since the beginning.
It's amazing. It's a. The
ending is what makes it.
Amazing. The speech, the lighting. I mean, just
that whole last like 15
the last
minutes.
15, 20 minutes is just unfucking believable.
It's so good.
And the movie's
so good.
It's an hour and 20 minutes.
It's not a long watch.
No,
It's not a long
If you
watch at
guys
all.
have watched or have you listened to this all the way through and haven't seen it yet, please watch the movie.
Yeah, we've now hit the
We haven't even done justice to it. Like
in the slightest. And if you've listened to this entire episode,
you
can watch the entire
You still
movie.
need to watch
You
it.
should still watch it.
It's not like, oh, these big spoilers are gonna fuck it up for me. Like, you still should watch
Right.
it.
So if you have the time to listen to this podcast,
Yeah,
an
this-
hour and 20 minutes of us fucking
Shooting the shit while
semi-drunkenly
drunk.
talk about this film,
Full drunkenly talking. about it.
watch Hitchcock at his, I mean, close to his absolute fucking best.
Close to is great. I would say it's B+ Hitchcock for me.
It's insane. A-.
Close, yeah. For sure.
I might bump it up to a 9.5.
I will 100% respect that. I fucking love this
It's
movie.
really fucking good.
This
It was
movie
good.
is one of my favorites. Hitchcock is the fucking king. Even though I know it's like classic, like, oh, everybody loves Hitchcock. He's just
Film
the GOAT.
snob.
He's the
People,
fucking...
everyone loves Hitchcock.
But I showed you guys a different Hitchcock.
Everyone loves Hitchcock
Yeah.
for a reason.
I showed you one that people do not talk about.
True.
No, I didn't even know it existed.
Me either.
So go fucking
Two
watch
movies
it.
you didn't know existed in these 2 recording sessions.
And that's what this podcast is about. I hope you
That's what
guys
we're here
enjoyed
for.
it.
we've
Do
been
you guys
really
have any final thoughts?
about just the movie.
Anything.
The movie. Final thoughts. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a cool experience. I do wish I could have sat down and watched it under less, I guess, time sensitive constraints.
I mean, that's your own fault.
It's not.
You woke up late.
Hit him with it.
I did not wake up late.
You woke up at noon,
I was
Trevor.
exhausted.
Set an
okay.
alarm.
Yeah, I'm fully kidding.
It was
Coming from 2 unemployed boys.
I woke up at 8 a.m. and
2
watched
unemployed
Dave.
boys, and the past 2 days of work,
I woke up at
clocked-
9 a.m., dabbed, and then played some Call of Duty.
No, the past 2 days of work, I clocked a 13-hour day and then a 14.5-hour day, I think.
Right
We
on, my
love
dude.
you. We're here for you.
We
So
respect
I was
you, Trevor. You're the
exhausted.
best.
I
Thank
needed
you for
sleep.
pulling your weight still, regardless of those days. While
So-
I did nothing and Jacob did.
Less than nothing.
Hell yeah.
So, but
but
like,
yeah.
no, I'm really excited for this podcast, though. Like,
Fuck yeah.
we're 3rd episode in, so we might as well talk. Like,
Feels great.
I'm,
I love it.
It's
I
so
can't wait
good.
to watch new shit, and I
Me
can't
too.
wait to show you guys stuff and just like fucking reminisce about the movies I love.
And also, not just movies.
TV shows.
Anything,
We've been-
yeah. Also, we did talk about that earlier. Yeah, so
We've been super movie centric these first few episodes.
it'll probably be different.
To be fair,
coming
the first 3
forward.
we've kind of done
We had
these
to-
on
time
somewhat
constraint.
short notice, so
Yeah.
movies have been easy.
but a lot of them will be going forward because
I think it's
we
primarily
want to
gonna
record
be
so
film.
often.
Yeah, I mean, movies are the easiest thing to do, I think.
for sure, because it's
And ideally, this comes out once a week,
Right.
which is the schedule that we are planning. Which
Planning,
we've
which
talked
who
to Abby
knows?
about. I mean, it's hopeful. If you guys know anything about the Harbor Boys release schedule, it is inconsistent at best.
it's inconsistent. But also, this isn't unfortunately our full-time thing yet.
It's my full-time thing, bitch.
It is right now, but not by my own volition. so.
But yes, thank you guys for watching. For
listening.
Rope. No, I mean for you guys for watching
Oh, yeah.
Rope and
Yeah,
for
for
being a
sure.
part of
Thanks
this
for
podcast.
recommending it, dude. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will for sure be bringing more Hitchcock to the fold for you guys because I fucking love older movies. I really
Cinephile.
just listen.
You are a
I
cinephile.
I love movies, man. I just fucking love them.
All right, let's go play some gunfight.
But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time and go watch fucking Rope.